Итак, Виталий, здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте.
Как нас слышно? Отлично?
Хорошо.
Замечательно. Итак, я передаю слово Виталию, потому что он уже готов представить нашего первого гостя. Это Томас. Томас, hello.
Hello.
Виталий, вам слово. Представляйте нашего гостя. А вы, дорогие друзья, наши зрители, пожалуйста, оставляйте вопросы, которые у вас возникают под нашей трансляцией, и мы обязательно на них ответим. Виталий, вам слово.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые друзья. Сегодня на нашей площадке Quantorium International наш первый спикер. Он из Испании, зовут его Томас де ла Fuente Marques. И его рассказ сегодня будет о биотехнологиях в космосе. Томас,
Здравствуйте, студенты. Today we are going to have a presentation about space biotechnology, which basically is the combination of three fields. We have space science, we have biology, and we have technology. And these three will combine this new emerging industry called space biotechnology. And today is what I want to try to introduce to any of you to how important is this current field. Okay. So for the few areas that combine this big field is space farming, space biology, and space medicine. The importance of this area is because the research and the engineering behind it will help to make space exploration more feasible, more easier to reach our moon, Mars, and any other planets. But the most important aspect of this field is it would also help to improve our life on Earth, as it has happened before and is still currently happening nowadays. So let's start with the definition of space biotechnology, which is the combination of novel technologies with the aim to produce bio objects or technical devices to help to work under microgravity environments. And that includes medicine, like diagnostics, treatments, and any other types of processes to help us to live in space conditions. So someone famous, which I don't know who, said, a clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids the problem. Just remember that because he's thinking outside the box. So what is space farming? It's basically agriculture in space. The main point is to grow plants, fungi, and cyanobacteria like algae in space for many different reasons, but basically is a way to grow space salads. Astronauts need to eat something. Astronauts and cosmonauts need to have nutrients and energy for long duration space flights, and this is one way to do it. So plants basically is the main source of energy. When algae could help to produce the oxygen and more nutrients for living in space ships. When fungi could be used for recycling the waste, and anything produced by astronauts could be recycled and then used to make better salads too. So this is one picture from the International Space Station in which they were growing a plant, which I don't know the species, but basically they were investigating how is the orientation of plant, there is no soil, and actually the sun is in different orientations. Space biology. So this one is quite interesting for me. As a molecular cell biologist, I found very important any research about how cells work in our body. In terms of space biology, the idea behind is to understand how our cells behave in space and how we try to work a way to have better methods to be working in space and maybe to produce better technologies for astronauts to avoid physiological problems. Now we have the biochemistry, which is actually very important to better pharmaceutical drugs. Basically, if we know how is the structure of proteins, we could know how to make better medicaments. And one of the areas that is used in space is protein crystallography. Basically, we could create crystals made of proteins. And in space, they grow much better. Because there is no gravity, we could actually see much better how is the structure, which will help to actually make better drugs for space and for Earth. And now we have also radiation, which is one of the current problems that we have to make space exploration possible, because if we don't know how to understand the effects of radiation in the human body, we will not be able to go to farther stars and galaxies. And just even to Mars, it will be quite difficult. So this is another area very important to research. This is one of the pictures of protein crystals, in which is, as I say, really an old field. Is about 50 years old, and we are still trying to understand much more about how proteins work, because the more complex is the protein, the more difficult it is to understand the structure inside, because it cannot fold inside. So it's a really exciting one, and hopefully there will be better ways on how to use lasers and X-ray to understand how we could know more about protein structure. Now we have space medicine, which is one of the main fields when space just started, because the need to make our astronauts, cosmonauts, and any of the crew members to be alive in these space conditions is very important, that they are alive and they come back to us with all the research and projects they have in their hands. So one of the things that space medicine is focused on is providing water and oxygen to our astronauts. That would be by making a recycling system, by using the waste from the astronauts and try to make oxygen and water from it. So it's kind of like a closed system, because we cannot provide them with the water and oxygen in a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. They need to depend on what they have for very long times periods. So, and that's one of the better ways that we do this is by using Soyuz, which is basically the transportation system we have to provide with proper food and also water, a lot of water, because it's the only way that we have, apart from recycling, to provide to astronauts. Then we have diagnostics. One key area for space biotechnology is to be able to diagnose astronauts, even tourists in not a very far future, on how to be able to make treatments, and actually without the need to make emergency flights, we will be able to treat anyone in space. And that is a very important field that we should be hopefully getting much better in the coming years. Then, as I say, drugs is also very important because we need to have ways on how to reduce the space effects, like in the human physiology. We know that the sight vision could be affected, our bones, our muscles. Maybe we develop drugs, we could reduce these effects to make much better conditions for anyone living in space and maybe other planets. This is a picture from one of your comrades. I think it was from 2017. I don't remember the cosmonaut name, but basically this is one of the best life support systems. The space suit is maybe not known, but basically is a space ship on its own. You have water, you have oxygen, you have communications, you have up to 20 different layers, different fabrics to protect against the vacuum, the space vacuum that is -200, -300 degrees. And you also have a pressure system to keep your body cool at the right temperature because it could be quite hot. And you have everything you need to actually live in a space within a spacesuit. You don't need to go to the toilet, it's also inside, so no worries. Now, for the conclusions on why space biotechnology is so important, basically, research and experiment on Earth will help to produce better space missions, space projects, and improve research that could be done in space will help to improve our research on Earth in medicine and any other fields. That's why we have the International Space Station. Is one of the most amazing structures made by humankind. And thanks to it, we understand much more how to live in space. And that is what is going to help us to reach maybe the moon on 2024 by the Artemis program. Talking about the moon, the idea is to create base stations and using robots that maybe could be produced at Quantorium. And that will help to maybe understand more how was formatted the moon, our natural satellite, and understand more other space galactical objects. And last will we go to Mars. That will be the one that is very interesting planet to go, as we're thinking maybe one day live and colonize the planet, making life possible. So in conclusion, basically, space biotechnology is a very exciting area where you could combine so many different fields from just not biology and engineering, but there is also so much about how law will work, how the international laws will be affected, marketing, how other type of engineering will be related, and that is why it's so exciting project. And that's one of the reasons why I am here in Russia, because it's one of the best countries to be looking at anything about engineering, technology, and space. So I hope you have many questions. So if anyone want to make questions, I have my professional translator, which will be able to ask and translate for me. Thank you very much.
Thomas, we have some questions in our section in YouTube. And the first, thank you very much for your presentation. It's wonderful, it's interesting, it's great. Thank you so much for finding some time to make it. And I have some questions. First question is, do we need smart greenhouses for space farming? Should it be inside or outside of the space station?
Well, that could be quite interesting project to make, actually. I think for what I know right now, so far inside the space station, reason why we need to have access to the plants So yes, we could make some sort of big greenhouse station, but we need to be able to go in and out, and that will make things more difficult. However, maybe we could make a greenhouse-based station in the moon. So that's totally a good question to ask.
Okay. Next question is, are there any difference between plants that will grow up at Earth and in the space?
Well, there are a few differences, and the research suggests that we need to know more how to make longer grow plants. Basically, plants on Earth, we know how they grow and how long they last. The problem in space is that they don't last longer. That is why we could use fungi, because fungi, they have longer lifetime. So, so I think we need to understand more on how to make them live for longer periods. So yes, they grow different.
Mm-hmm. The next question, actually, we got quite many questions. Which are the criteria to choose a plant or an algae to be used in space technologies?
I think we need to use both. They have different properties, different behavior. So, for example, algae, cyanobacteria, they're just very small, basically cells. They are not plant, they're not animal. And we have many research about them, and they grow in different ways. So that is a very important thing, because we could get the benefits of plants, because it's best to eat a salad made of a plant than maybe a salad made of an algae. The taste is much better. So, and that is important, because if you want to be 180 days, maybe 1 year, you want to eat something that is more tasty. I'm pretty sure that will be important too. So I think both should be good to pick.
Okay. Next question. Can we be sure that the organisms to the space will be safe for Earth and its ecosystems?
Well,
get the organisms back from there.
Well, there is a lot of discussion about that, because we need to make sure that the organisms that we take from Earth and everything is super sterilized. That means everything is clean, like perfect, immaculate, marvelous. There is no possible way that there is still any organism. And anything that grows in space must be controlled in a way that is not going to affect, maybe go to Mars and have something growing that we don't want to, or something like that. So normally what we grow in space is highly protected against possible bad outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Next few questions we have to answer a little bit faster, because we just...
All right, okay, I'll try to be faster.
The next one.
Mm-hmm.
Will it be possible to defeat diseases such as cancer through the medical research conducted in the space?
Yes, so very quickly, by understanding how radiation works, we would know how to protect the DNA, and research could be done for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Next question. The price of space launches is very high. Who will afford products created with the using of such technologies?
Oh, I don't know about that one, I have to say. And one more question, just one last more question. Okay? Choose wisely.
What should you choose? The last question, what do you think? Which planet will be the second after Earth to be colonized by us?
The second after Earth?
Yes.
Well, I think Mars is the best choice to go. And apparently Venus, they're saying like maybe there is life in there. I'm thinking it's like, oh, let's go to Venus. But I think Mars, I think most of the other planets, I don't know how much surface they have. So I think will be satellites. Jupiter has like 50 natural satellites. So yeah.
So I think it's time to finish and time to say thank you for Thomas, and we are going to the next.
I think they are saying more questions. Okay, they are changing the time.
Last question.
One more question? Just one more question.
Will the space food change the genetics of human?
The what?
Will the space food change the genetics and genetic composition of human being? What will be the outcome for you if you eat something which is grown in space?
I don't think should be much change. I don't think anyone will become Hulk by eating an apple from Earth or something crazy like that. So let's keep it, more realistic.
Okay. Will the animals be used somehow in the space technologies or in space tests?
Well, yes, animals has been used for a very long time. I think Russia was one of the first countries to send dogs and bring them back alive. So, and we all want to have maybe a space cat or dog. My favorite is a space chicken. That would be a nice pet to have.
Okay. What is the most interesting in biotechnology for you?
Oh, I think the most interesting thing would be radiation. I would love to be able to understand more about gamma rays and make space exploration more possible. And understanding that will make us to go to Mars and beyond. Okay?
Okay, I think it's all the questions.
Okay.
And would the experiments in space provoke the appearance of new diseases on Earth? How could we prevent it?
I don't think it's going to be anything new. I mean, so far we have our own diseases on Earth. I mean, we have coronavirus, so we don't need to bring anything from space. We already have stuff here, so no worries.
Okay, we have somebody really posting questions. We see that your topic is very interesting.
Okay.
Why do we need space environment to create things?
They could grow better. Basically, no gravity, no falling objects. Mean that if you grow something, it grows better. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. And one more. No, that's it.
No, that's it.
Okay. So thank you very much, and I'll let Vitaly to say a few more words on Russian.
Спасибо. Сейчас мы переходим к следующему этапу нашей трансляции.
Спасибо большое, Виталий. Спасибо, Томас. Было очень интересно. Спасибо большое за ваши вопросы. Напоминаю, что мы разыгрываем призы от наших партнеров за самые креативные, интересные вопросы, за ваши идеи для нашего мерча и так далее. Поэтому будьте активны, и мы обязательно отметим вас нашими призами и подарками. Спасибо, ребята. До скорой встречи. Я надеюсь, что мы с вами еще увидимся. Спасибо за такой интересный рассказ и ответы на ваши вопросы. Ну что ж.